Christmas special, the energy secrets of Christmas, a deeper dive into the spiritual science of Christmas, and especially these holy nights, these silent nights. We're going to learn a little bit about this today. We call this, or I call this, the 12 daily sacred selves. And I actually mean the 12 nights. I actually mean to speak to you here in these transitions between those 12 days of Christmas. My name is Jona Bryndis, and this is a Christmas tradition here at transCODES, guiding you through these 12 days from Christmas Eve to January 6th. We will learn quite a bit about the deeper spiritual aspects of these days and nights. And we will also have an inner experience. So at the end of this video, you will find a beautiful energy alignment, a meditation that I created many years ago to tune yourself into the theme of the day. Today's alignment is called Higher Self. And I would like to illuminate with you now what this actually means. We use these words, we use these terms, these spiritual terms, often just out of, I would say, habit, all right, because that's how we grew up, and that's basically also the simplest level of understanding these celebrations, these holidays that we have. Yeah, they're filled with childhood memories, they're filled with, well, for some of us also negative memories, but a lot of times when it comes to the psychology of Christmas, we remember the feeling that we had way back then. We remember the smells, the candles, the beautiful decoration, the lights, yeah, the food, and the gift giving, of course. Now, historically, Christmas is a celebration that's been going on for, we know, much, much longer than just the birth of Jesus the Christ. Yeah, there's a greater cosmological understanding that our ancestors already had, and that has to do with the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice, the dark nights, the darkest nights of the year, where the sun seemingly stands still, where we have the least sunlight in the year. Today, we will remember the 12 nights as something that guides us or shows us a path in connecting with the spirit world on a deeper level. We want to illuminate the meaning of connecting with the spirit world as our ancestors already did. Yesterday, I reminded you that you are becoming a beacon of light for others that reignites their light, not through gifts or words, but through the conscious deed, the conscious choice of silently speaking and rejoicing with all souls that want to feel the warmth and the beauty of love and light. And that is something our ancestors also felt. They felt this deep yearning for warmth and light, which is why they created these ceremonies around the winter solstice. Yeah, and the main message, I guess, on a very simple common sense level is that when it's dark outside, we need to turn on the light on the inside. And that requires us to remember something very important, namely that we are actually a spirit being, that we are a soul with a body in a soul being, in a spirit being. And thus reigniting our inner light basically means to remember this connection with our inner spirit being. We can call this our spirit self, we can call this our higher self. But really what it is that we are reconnecting with our inner light, our inner sun. So what is the meaning of these spiritual statements? Yeah, so when we remember the psychological aspect of Christmas where, well, we come together with our loved ones, with our family, and we gift one another. We turn on lights, we decorate our house. Many of us have a Christmas tree, which, by the way, is a most recent habit. It's only like about 150 years of a tradition. But there's a deep, deep meaning in understanding the Christmas tree, which we will get to here as well. So on the simplest level of being human, all around the Western world, we use the time right now to come together, to eat together, to celebrate together, to sing together, and to commemorate the love. Why is that? It is because we feel this deep, deep inner yearning for a connection around this time when the nights are long and dark, and when we feel like we are surrounded by outer darkness. It is the time where we usually review. It's the end of the year. It is the time where we look back. It is also the time where we look into the future. And so a lot of times when we come together with family, we discuss all the events that have happened this year, and maybe also what we want to accomplish, what we want to dedicate our attention, our will to manifesting in the next year. Yes, and many times we also discuss current events. And if we look at the current events here in 2024, at the precipice of many transitions, it's no longer just a subtle feeling in us, it is an actual occurrence right now. Not only politically, not only technologically, not only economically, but there's something going on here right now that scares us. There's an outer darkness that is coming in that fills our hearts with the fear of the future, the fear of the unknown. And that is something that we need to look at. Are we the subject of outer darkness? If that is the case, then we would be dependent on these outer, dark and light, lunar cycle, solar cycles. Are we dependent on them? a lot of our biological, physiological functions are aligned to lunar cycles, are aligned to solar cycles, but ultimately we as humans stick out. We stick out compared to the animal kingdom, compared to the plant kingdom and the mineral kingdom, and that we can overcome the darkness. We can overcome the light too. We have the ability to choose via our consciousness. And so I want to bring this thought in today that if we look into the world and we are afraid of what is to come, or we are unhappy with how the world is developing, then I want to remind us that we have a choice. And there is no better time to remember this than during these dark nights. It is the outer darkness that we can transmute, that we can transform into inner light. And that is what we are doing when we are reigniting our inner light. That is what we're doing when we are connecting with the spirit world. When we are remembering that we are part of a larger system, part of a larger cosmos, part of a larger plan. So when we do this, when we connect, consciously connect with the spirit world, not just out of habit, but perhaps out of something that you were introduced to when you were younger for religious reasons. Yeah, you go to church on Christmas, you remember Jesus the Christ being born. Yeah, and you engage in singing songs that praise the divine. You might get a little closer to the true meaning of Christmas, not so much the historical event of the birth of the Christ, but more so the event that changed everything. The event that is so worthy to be celebrated, to be commemorated throughout the world, throughout religions, by the way. Not perhaps as birth of the Jesus, the Christ, but the celebration of light. It is so worthy that we have even aligned our time to it. Yeah, like how we count time. So this event that I am talking about is an historical event that brought something to us humans, all humans, as a gift. Perhaps this is why we are celebrating Christmas with gifts. But the deeper meaning of this is that we begin to understand this gift better, so that we can not only engage, actively engage with this gift, but perhaps also give it to others. This gift came for all of us humans. It has nothing to do with your faith or your religious or spiritual alignment. It also comes for atheists that do not believe in any kind of higher power. This gift is the gift of consciousness, the gift of recognizing ourselves as individual. And in the moment we connect this with our spiritual understanding, that is the moment our inner sun, our inner light ignites. It is the moment where we not only see ourselves as part of a bigger world, as part of the spirit world that is at the core of all that exists, that is underneath all of the physical, material processes here. It also identifies us as a conscious self, as a conscious I. That is part of the spiritual message and energy secret, a big secret of Christmas. So when we let go of the baby Jesus aspect of Christmas, and we dive into the light that we are celebrating here, this igniting of our inner light, of our inner sun, that's when we move up in our consciousness into the cosmological understanding of Christmas. This has nothing to do with beliefs. To identify yourself as a shining light via your consciousness, via your ability to have your own insights and your own will. The freedom to choose. That is a gift to us. And it identifies us as part of a greater spiritual family. We've all heard about the different spiritual hierarchies. And throughout these 12 days, or better say 12 nights of Sacred Self, we're going to dive into these different hierarchies of beings that are surrounding us and that have brought all that's in existence to be at our feet. When we identify ourselves as a spirit being, we are identifying ourselves as part of this universe. And this comes to us through multiple layers, through an inner yearning for light and warmth, an inner yearning for connection, an inner yearning to be with others, to join in, perhaps to have more spiritual contemplations around this time of the year, going inward, meditating, aligning, spending time in silence. So I want to bring home with you that this gift that we are receiving here in these darkest nights of the year is the remembrance that we are being loved no matter what, no matter whether we are with people or not, when we turn on our inner light, when we can find light and warmth within ourselves. This divine love, this unconditional love is ultimately the message for us that allows us to evolve, that allows us to wanting to grow and becoming worthy of this love. We want to become a reflection of this love, and that is what we are feeling. We are feeling the cue, so to speak, the ping, right, to remember. Light and warmth is the expression of divine love for us. In these following days, we are going to investigate all that was necessary to make this possible, to allow us here as human spirit beings to have this physical experience, the physical material experience of our higher self, by illuminating the spiritual hierarchies that are indeed involved in this. But what we need to understand here as the big secret, which isn't the secret obviously, of Christmas, is that this light that we are seeking is already in us. Now, some of us will question whether they are worthy of this life, and perhaps also what the purpose of this realizing that we are sort of part of a greater spiritual reality. What's the purpose of this? Well, here it helps to go back to our ancestors and look into what they connected with this kind of celebration, which served as an initiation into the deeper cosmic secrets. And this is the next part of the energy secrets here of Christmas, is that there is something else that we are looking at when we begin to turn on our inner light. And that has to do with the eternity of the spirit world. That has to do with immortality. That has to do with us actually not being bound to the physical material. Us being able to transform the physical, the material. And when we look at this from this deeper perspective, we have to make a choice. And the choice is whether we see ourselves as a body that has a soul, or whether we see ourselves as a spirit being that is having a physical experience. Because right there lies our power to overcome our fear. By celebrating birth, life, and rebirth, and aligning ourselves to the spiritual, the spirit nature of our being, we are celebrating eternal life, and no longer need to identify with what the struggles and the sufferings and the fears of this spiritual life brings into our awareness right now. Now, this doesn't mean that we have to ignore it, but those of us who are interested in these deeper spiritual meanings of things, we're not just concerned about ourselves, we're also concerned about humanity as a whole and the development of that. And that is what we're celebrating. That is the renewal that occurs in these holy nights. So starting with the summer solstice, starting with the winter solstice, of course, we are entering a deep inner transformation process. These 3 days between the winter solstice and Christmas Eve, by the way, have been used as initiation days in the old days. This is where our ancestors used to go into a cave, or used to go into the desert, or used to go into places away from the happenings, the outer light, and spent these 3 days and nights in silence to connect with the spirit world. And on Christmas Eve, on this 3rd day at midnight, the reignition, the lighting of our inner light, the triumph of the forces of light, the reawakening sun is celebrated as Christmas. And as such, we are celebrating the eternal nature of the light. And when we identify ourselves as such a light, rather than a physical bag of flesh, that originated through randomly colliding atoms, with electromagnetic impulses that define whether or not it's alive. Okay? Now, when we can let go of that, that is when we can understand the deeper meaning of true immortality. So there are 3 big secrets around this Christmas celebration. One is that it is bringing the light for all of us. It was an event for all humans seen as spirit beings, regardless of the faith, regardless of the religion, regardless of any kind of beliefs. The second secret of Christmas is that it comes to us through our inner experience of love, the yearning, the connection for being loved, unconditionally loved. And the third secret of Christmas is the deeper understanding of immortality, the cycle of birth, life, and rebirth. And that it is necessary for us to align ourselves to the light that brings the warmth, that brings the connection, that brings the love. And begin to see ourselves as such, to realize, that's when the light switch turns on. That we are a spirit being, that we are a higher being, that is not only able to comprehend these things, but also to have an inner experience of that. So my contemplation for you here for this first night of Christmas, our first sacred night, is the following. How are you seeing yourself? Are you seeing yourself the same as your higher self sees you? Are you seeing yourself the same as the divine sees you, that gifts you with the light and warmth of love? How can I, the human spirit being that I am, become a reflection of this light, of this divine light, of this higher self that I am? These are contemplations that you can maybe meditate over, or just ask yourself. Maybe get a journal, decorate it. Yeah, and remember these 12 sacred self days and nights as the triumph of the light in you, your inner light, over inner and outer darkness. The power to overcome fear, doubt, and anger. The power to overcome untruths. I want to close here tonight with a poem from Rudolf Steiner, probably one of the biggest, probably the biggest visionary and spiritual teachers here in our modern time. He wrote this poem, this verse, for a Christmas meeting with his followers, and promised that it would contain all secrets of Christmas. So if you want to, you can also use these words in this poem for your contemplation work. Behold the sun at midnight hour, and built with stones and lifeless clay. So find in world decline and in the night of death creation's new beginning and morning's useful strength. Let heights above reveal the God's eternal word. May depths preserve and seal the peaceful treasure hoard. In darkness living, oh now create a sun. In substance weaving, oh know the bliss of spirit. Thank you so much for being here live. You see, I am being illuminated by the actual sun. I'm sitting outside here in my healing tent. In the next 11 nights, we will engage with these spiritual hierarchies and learn more about the secrets of this holy time and the spiritual hierarchies involved with this. If you're watching the video on YouTube right now, you will be able to engage with the higher self energy alignment. And if you would like to discuss or have questions or comment, then please do so either on YouTube or here in our live daily Sacred Self community. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas. I'm wishing you a beautiful holy time, silent nights, and a wonderful inner experience, reigniting your inner light. Stay conscious. Higher self. I freely choose to believe that you are present in me and everything around me. I love you above all things and desire to receive you into my heart and sacred self-awareness. I embrace and sanctify my sacred journey as if you were always there, even if I cannot feel you temporarily, and unite myself wholly with you. I forgive myself unconditionally for separating from you, and thus dedicate this most blessed conscious moment to the love for the divine expressing through me as you. I am. Allow me to grow beyond what my ego cannot see, and guide me to be open for approaching my journey with the consciousness of my united heart and mind. Now I can rest in my heart, as all there's left to do is to live and create my life in the light of love and truth. Thank you.